Okay, so with chapter 6F, we're going to look at rates from graphs. So if we say rates from the graph, which just means what we're looking at really is the gradient, because we knew that another way to say gradient is rate. So if you have a look, and this is probably what you've been doing a little bit in science when you said the other day you had straight lines. So on their y-axis, they're saying, instead of y, they're saying it's distance, and then along their x-axis, they're saying time. So when you find their gradient, so if you have a look here, they found the gradient and they went a rise of, what was it, 100 over a run of 2. So you can see that. And what it is, so if you have a look here, they went a rise of, wasn't the distance in kilometres? So their rise was, ended up being 50 over 1 when they simplified. So they've got 50 kilometres over 1 hour. Can you see how that rate gives a speed, doesn't it? They're going 50 k's per hour. So that's another way to know if you're talking about the gradient. Did you hear when I said the word per? So I said 50 k's per hour, yeah? If it was $20 per hour, that is your it's like a rate, isn't it? It's your wage rate, and that's like a gradient on a graph and stuff like that. So that's all you really have to look at. So often you'll see gradient, and it is when they say distant, you'll see the speed. So the speed on a distance time graph, the gradient is speed. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're doing in science. That's at year 10. So let's have a look at this question down here where they've got an application. So the car completes the journey which is described by the graph. So you can see here they've got distance and it's over time. For the first hour, find the total distance travelled. So how far have they travelled? In the first hour, you go up. What's their distance? 60. Good. So you're right. Okay. They've travelled 60 kilometres. Now, it also said, what is the speed? So what I could do, if I'm at that point, you just think of your graphs that we did yesterday. If I was going to write the coordinate of that point, what am I? I'm at, what's the x value? Isn't it 1? And what's the y value? 60. Good. And what down here, if I was on my graph, what would the coordinate of that one be? 0 and 0. So if I'm going to go and do this over here. If I'm going to find the speed, so remember the speed is actually the gradient on a distance time graph, yeah? So if I go to I want to find the speed, I'm just going to use the gradient. And can't I use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? So I'll call that x1, y1, x2, y2. So what will the speed be? We've got y2 is 0 minus 60 over 0 minus 1. So we end up with negative 60 over negative 1. What does that become? Does that become a positive? A negative divided by a negative? Yeah? A positive? So I've got 60, I've done 60 kilometres per the hour. See how I got the same? So we know the speed is 60 kilometres per hour. Now, he goes off, how fast, so in the second hour, he has a stop. How fast was the car travelling in the first hour? We've already just worked that out. That's the speed, isn't it? Yeah? So we'll just say 60 kilometres. The second section, so what's he doing here? If you're at 60 and you're still at 60 an hour later, what do you reckon he's doing in that section? Has he moved? No, he's stopped. So he hasn't moved. So whatever he's done, he's stopped the car and he's not moving. So stop, maybe resting, whatever. So in the third section, if we go to look at that one, here, this is the third section. Okay, if you have a look at that, Does the line look look a little bit steeper than the first one? Does the steepness? Yeah. So what do we think? Do we think he's going to be, will it be a bigger gradient? Yeah. So therefore a faster speed. He's going faster, yeah? But we're in the third section. Let's just find out his speed, and we will just use our formula that with our 2 points. So we'll use this one. So if I'm at that point, what would it be? What's the x value? 2. And what's the y value? Good. And up here, what's it become? What's the y value? X value? 4. And the y value? 240. So we'll do that, and we'll call this one x1, y1, x2, y2, and let's find our gradient, or essentially let's find our speed he's going at in that third section. Oh, what have I done? Sorry, peeps. Okay, so I've got y2 to be 60 minus 240 over 2 minus 4. I'm going to get a negative over a negative, aren't I? So I get negative 180 over negative 2, which will become a positive, and what will that number be? What's 180 divided by 2? 90. So he's going 90 kilometres per hour. Was that faster than the first one? Yeah. First part? Yeah. So in the third section, you can say he's going 90 kilometres per hour, and you can see that line's steeper.